Not yet, but it's going there, yes. I don't
Okay,
want
babe.
to be
I'm
talking.
at the field.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are actually live.
Not
on...
yet, but it's going there, yes.
Okay, yeah. So we are live on YouTube. Let me just check here. While we wait for people to log in, let me just log in on my other. Gmail.com. Okay, I want us to check. Yes, that's me. All right, we're going to start in a few minutes. Okay, I see there is one person watching. Hello there. Okay. All right. Cool. We are done. We are done. This technology thing, I need to figure out on like when I'm not in a rush to know what exactly is this StreamYard that people are talking about. Hello, good people. I see that there are two people watching us. Welcome to Malebo TV. I am Coach Malebo, your holistic life and wellness coach, working with the well-being of mind, body, and spirit. And in what I work with, I believe that everyone can have everything that they want, right? They can have all the money, the love, everything they want. And I keep on hearing myself on the other PC. And that is why today I called Thabo Machie, our marriage counselor and relationship coach, to help us tackle this issue of relationships, because this is one of the issues that looks like a big issue. Everybody can get money, everybody can manifest anything in their lives, but when it comes to Mujolo, it's a problem. Now we called the specialist in this department called Thabo Machie. So Mr. Thabo, welcome to Malebo TV. Please say hi to our viewers for today and let us begin.
Hi, Coach, and hi to everyone who's watching us, joining us again today. I'm hoping that whatever that we're going to be sharing is going to help somebody. So yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. So I have I think two people or one person who actually gave me a question that they want to ask you. But before we do that, I want us to talk about the order of today, which is the issue of people being hurt in marriages or in relationships, and that blocking them from moving forward or loving another person. So I remember, Thabo, when I was still in my, when I was still single and still dating there, I remember that when I got hurt in this thing called relationship, I was staying, it's in 6th floor. And I remember when I called this person that I wanted in my life, I thought we were going to get married. And a woman answered the phone and I was shattered. I was shattered. It was in the morning, and then I was just trying to say hi. Where have you been? Whatever. And this person, the woman answered the phone and said, "Hi, what do you want from my man?" And everything in my life just stopped right there. I was like, "Excuse me, what just happened?" And because I know that we maybe we react differently from situations and all that. And when that happened, I wanted to throw myself out of 6th floor. I wanted to literally throw myself out there and die, right? But I couldn't. I was a coward, and I decided, okay, fine. let me just smoke. By that time I was smoking, and I was numbing my pain with cigarette. So I want you today to maybe take us on a journey of how do we then handle pain in relationships, and how do people then move forward. So many people will be ahead in relationships. Maybe somebody has been left with a child, whatever it is that you find yourself in a relationship. How do you then move forward? Because some people cannot handle the pain, they take their own lives. Some people then decide that, okay, fine, because I cannot control this person and do all these things, then I'm just going to date anyone and just don't have attachments. And they call it the Oprah thing, that Oprah has been involved with a man for however long, and then there is no attachment and things like that. So this is what I want us to tackle. How do we then move to a stage where we are no longer ahead? I know I've moved from there, but I want you to tell us, how do we move from there?
I was actually puzzled when you said I wanted to throw myself from the 6th floor. And the unfortunate realities that we faced with is that you are not the only one, who thinks that way. And simply because emotional pain, it's really too much for a lot of people, and not everyone is able to grow well out of it and get out of it, but at the end of the day, one thing that can actually help us to heal, help us to not find ourselves at that point of despondency whereby you feel like your life doesn't matter. One thing that you need to understand is that you are not the one who actually broke up the relationship. You are not the one who messed up. You are not the one who was found cheating. You are not the one who did something that would actually break the relationship. So in that case, one thing that I've actually practiced personally myself, because in most of the relationships that I had, Malebu, I was dumped. I don't remember dumping anyone. I'm that guy, who've just been dumped for whatever reason. And one thing that actually helped me to deal with the pain, was to realize that in actual fact, I am not the one who's losing here. I've given myself to this person. I'm loving them. I'm being faithful. I decided to trample on that. So I'm not the one who's losing in this whole thing. Yes, it's gonna hurt because emotionally I was attached to this person, but at the end of the day, the right kind of mentality, the right kind of thoughts that you have about yourself with regard to the situation will actually help you to deal with it in a more way, So that is my personal experience, that I thought I'm not the one who's losing. So, well, it is their loss, Yes, it will hurt. But one thing that I actually learned through that process was that the more you train your mind, your thoughts, the more you guide your thoughts, the more you think about what you are thinking about, that is what will help you to deal with the situation. When somebody is hurting you and you decide to just sulk, you decide to dwell deeper into what they do, what they did, what they were supposed to do, why they did that, why they didn't do this, the more you dwell on those emotions, the more you dwell on those thoughts, that is what is going to drive you to a point where you think, in actual fact, I am the one who's losing here, and whereas you are not. You end up blaming yourself. You end up thinking negatively about yourself. You end up thinking low of yourself. Maybe I didn't love them enough. Maybe I didn't understand them. Maybe I didn't do this or do that. But at the end of the day, when it comes to relationship, and especially with someone who is matured, you need to understand that an individual decision to remain faithful to that person, to remain committed to that person. It is an individual decision. Even though there might be influences that might make you to think somehow or do certain things, but at the end of the day, whatever that you do, you must understand that you decided individually. So when you get to understand that your thoughts controls your emotions, it is better for you to dwell on your thoughts and say, I need to think right. I need to think for me. Sometimes when you are head like that, Malebu, you have to be selfish. You know, I've sat down with a lot of people and they will tell you he or she did this, did that, or did that. But I always struggle to get an answer when I say, but what do you want to do about this whole situation? How do you want to do it? Where do you want to be? Tell me about you. Don't tell me he or she did this, this, and that, and that. Tell me about you. Do you have the deal breakers? Do you have principles and boundaries? Then address this situation from those deal breakers. Because if, for instance, I'm going to give an example of, say, if you say, my deal breaker, if somebody cheats on me, I'm gone. Then when that person does it, already you tying to the person, but at least it is not going to be prolonged because your thoughts will be guiding your emotions. So I think we need to get to that point where we realize that we need to control our thoughts so that they don't actually submit to what the emotions are saying. When you're busy hurting, the emotions becomes too much. You dwell on what was done wrong to you. And you sometimes, I know ladies suffer from this, and some men as well. You start condemning yourself. You start questioning yourself. Am I good enough? Am I not good enough? There's a funny one that people say, hey, maybe he cheated on me because, hey, I was not giving it up like he wanted. And it's got nothing to do with that. At the end of the day, you need to realize that you have the longer the pain stays depends entirely on the thoughts that you have about the situation, because those thoughts are going to control how you feel about the situation. And if you dwell on how you feel about the situation, then you are most likely to say, my life doesn't matter. And it does matter.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. And you keep on breaking. I'm hoping that we're not going to lose you like last week with the network doing whatever that it did last week.
I hope
But
not.
anyway, you
not.
keep on breaking. All right. So I get what you're saying, that and I think my husband always emphasizes on this, that even when we are fighting, remember the days when it was good, when we were laughing, when we were having a good time. Because now when we are fighting, I only think that, yeah, even yesterday you did 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you remember all the bad things. You don't even remember. You even go to the extreme of saying that, all this 5 years together or 10 years together, you have been hating me, but you have actually forgotten because you are dwelling more on the negative side. And I think from the message that I'm getting from you is that don't allow yourself to dwell on the negative side so much, because when you dwell on that, your emotions are going to go up and you're going to think of throwing yourself down from 6th floor. Can you imagine that? But then we do actually have people who are in toxic marriages and relationships, who or maybe trying to make this thing of relationships and marriages to work, and the pain that they get, they don't do like what I thought I would do. They are numbing themselves. They are numbing the pain, maybe with alcohol, with an addiction of porn or something, just to keep them busy so that they don't dwell on the pain. And if you are that type of a person, you need to confront the pain. A friend of mine passed away not so long ago, and I just found out, I think he passed away a while ago. And when I was writing on my WhatsApp saying that my friend passed away, people were like, yeah, you can't wake him up. But when you are in in grief. Allow yourself to be in that process, but don't stay there. And you confront the pain that you are having, and then you move forward. Because I see a lot of people who have been hurt in relationships, in marriages, and now they are in a protective mode, that, okay, Thabo did this, I know that Thabo did this, okay, I'm going to protect myself so that I do not fall for this type of a thing. Because people are not the same. I'm not going to treat my husband as my ex-boyfriend and all of those people. And there are people here, actually, when we get into the spiritual part of it, is that you had agreed that you are going to marry a person called Selina Malebu, agreed to say, I'm going to marry Maurice. So if things are not working with that person, it doesn't mean it's the end of it. It means that he was not part of the agreement that you had with God. Now you need to move on and trust that God has got my back. And I want to actually ask this question, because there is a person who asked me this question, and I want to really say it the way they said it. Okay, so she is asking that, is it true that if a woman is spiritually inclined, she will attract a man that is weak? So that, and I believe weak is that the man is not that spiritual, and so that she can help him as a woman, as women are helpers. So I want you to answer this question, but I already even had my own, but I said, let me give it to the relationship coach so that he can tell us. So is it true that women who are spiritually inclined, and the pastors, the people who are working in the spiritual world, they attract people who are not in that position spiritually?
Look, then if that is the case, what happened to the law of attraction? Remember last week we even spoke about it, to say how you position yourself spiritually, mentally, and emotionally, even physically, it sends out the energy out there to people around you. But here's one thing that I have found to be common, especially in ladies who are in those positions. They've got a need for control. If they have a need for control, they are the ones who fall for the men who are weaker spiritually. I don't know how they determine the weakness of the men, but at the end of the day, they are the ones who feel like, if I can get this man and get him to where I want him to be, that is where the problem is. I remember there is one preacher who once said that it's funny that we fall for people, or we get married to people whom we can control, but we get upset and mad when we are married to them and they cannot be where we are, because that is where we found them. Now you've got this hero syndrome in you, or the control syndrome in you, that you want to make a man, that you feel like, you know what, at the end of the day, I love him, he's a good man, he's a good person, but the deeper thoughts in it is that, at least I need someone that I can control. I need someone that I can be able, who can be able to submit to me. Believe you me, there are ladies who feel that way, that they need men who can submit to them, especially those that are spiritually, refer to themselves as spiritually matured. And the moment you are a lady and you get to that point where you want a man to submit to you, that on its own clearly tells that you are not spiritually matured as you would claim to be. So what we need to be careful about is, especially for ladies, that control mentality is what makes you fall for the man. The man did not fall for you. You fell for the man. Because at the end of the day, without your yes, the man wouldn't be your man. You know, if he comes to you, and let me be honest with you, most of the time, it is actually these ladies who go after this man. Why? Because they are easy to be with. They respect you. Malebu, you know, if a guy respects you and so forth, believe me, it's not gonna be difficult for him to submit to whatever that you are saying up until you get married. And sometimes such ladies, they end up falling in love with someone whom they are not supposed to fall in love with. Because remember, there are certain things, Malebo, I can tell you right now that there are men, if you were single, there would be men who would wish they can be with you. But those men, they only love what you do and what they see, but they don't understand the amount of energy, the amount of time and everything that you put behind what you are doing, which attracts them. And it goes the same way as well for those type of sisters. They need to be careful because most of them are falling in love with someone whom they're supposed to shepherd. Sometimes you see the brother is good, he's doing well, you know, he's just there, he's very supportive to everything that is happening, perhaps in the ministry and so forth, or even to you, they respect you for what you are doing and for who you are. And then you're thinking, this is the man that I can be with. And that is where it goes wrong most of the time. And actually, it is always spoken that, hey, Baruti ba just talk. Believe you me, Libona the Ausi, ba just talk. Because they are not supposed to fall in love with the guy, but they are supposed to guide. Yes, if you're spiritually mature and somebody comes, then they need your guidance, they need your leadership, they need your assistance, they need your helping hand. But if you're gonna jump quickly into marriage with that type of a person, then you must understand that
Actually,
the
this
spiritual.
I really, oh my God. It says that the internet is unstable. What makes the internet unstable? Hello, Tabo, can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly. Can you?
Okay, I think we are losing Tabo there, but in the meantime, and let me also answer the same question because I have answered it in the group. I did a live session on the group where I was talking about frequency, which is what we say when we talk about the law of attraction, which Tabo has just mentioned. And let me just see, guys, can you guys see me? Okay, all right. Yeah, so we're talking about
Coach, I'm not sure if the problem is on my side or it's on your side.
Okay, I think it's my network.
Yes, because I'm live. I'm very much good, and even with network where I am.
Oh, I don't know what is DJ doing something. Let me ask
Let's
you,
blame it on him.
maybe it's connected to something that is dripping. Let me just talk to him just a bit.
Okay, I'm not sure if the viewers can actually hear me right now, but I just wanted to add as well on this that I keep saying, especially for our single ladies, I keep telling them, you are the reason relationships and marriages exist. Because God has given you that authority, you know, to say yes or to say no. The challenge that most of you have is that you don't know when to use the yes and when to use the no. And that is where the problem is. You know, I would really love to put it this way, that whenever you feel or understand or think that you are spiritually matured and you are attracting people men specifically, who are not spiritually matured, firstly, you need to understand the definition of your spiritual maturity. Because sometimes we think that just because I am preaching, just because I'm doing this, I'm leading this congregation, I'm doing that, that means I'm spiritually matured. And in most cases, if that is not well defined, you find that you end up wanting to control whoever that is around you. And that will also include the men that will be in your life. So you need to be careful. Define your spiritual maturity. If indeed you are spiritually matured, then you would understand that biblically it still stands that you are to submit to the man. So if you feel that spiritual maturity makes you superior than the man, then you are not spiritually matured. We know biblically, if you are spiritually matured, then you should understand the power of equally yoked. Because sometimes, like we said, remember last time, Coach, that people think when we say we are equally yoked, we're only talking about going to church together. It actually goes beyond that. You need someone who is spiritually inclined as you are, someone who is spiritually matured in the things of God, just like you are. That's not to say you are in competition, but it simply means it is actually beyond that. And also, that works even in our soul, how we connect, how we soul mate. When you are spiritually matured, you will make sure that your spiritual position saturates your soul so that whatever that you do is in line with your spirituality. But believe you me, whenever I hear somebody says, I am spiritually matured, for me, it's like, no, you are not. You cannot define yourself as spiritually matured. It's the same as I'm saying, you know what, I'm the best husband ever. No, my wife has to tell me that, look, you are the best husband. Why? Because I'm the husband to her. Same with her. She can't say, I'm the best wife ever. You know, I'm the one who's supposed to say, love, you know what? I'm really blessed to have you. You are the best wife. You are the best mother. So unfortunately, when people get to a point of blowing their own horns, that is where the problem starts. So spiritual maturity has got a lot to do with, not with your positions in the ministry, but with your wisdom and how you exercise it in the life that you are living, especially when it comes to relationships and marriage.
All right. Okay. I hear you. I hope that you as somebody has just said, yes, we think it's your network because they can hear you. I hope that you can see me, you can hear me. Please comment on the section there. I don't know what is happening to the network, but you know that all is well. We are supported, and the angels of the internet and the network are fixing this right now in the name of Jesus. So I also actually have answered this question yesterday, because I know that women, in particular, us women, we like to become victims, especially in relationships, that somebody they have hurt me, you know, men are this. And I also know that there are also men who are like that, and they take themselves out of the equation and say, I don't know what happened, is Tabo is the problem. But then I made an example that when you get into a restaurant, when you order who you are, you order what you want. So when you order a burger, there's no way that the waitress can come with fish or seafood. They will give you burger. So there are people out there who are thinking that the people that they are with, they are not spiritually matured or whatever. They think that they are actually the people who are spiritually matured, but you were given that which you are. And I always say it that, Tabo, when I'm arguing with my husband, I see myself. The reason why I see myself, it's because my husband is me. It's just that it's a different gender. It's just that he is just in a different makeup. But I see, if I see the stubbornness from my husband, that is the stubbornness that is coming from me, because my husband is my mirror, and he is actually reacting to who I am as a person. So some people are saying, okay, I am spiritually mature. This guy is very weak. This guy is not reading the Bible. This guy, but that is actually you. You might be reading the Bible. And I talked about this because I also saw a video of another reverend talking about this, that sometimes even people who are good, who are thinking they are doing good out of fear, but inside of they are doing good, but inside of them there is fear. So you might be reading the Bible and knowing how to memorize all the scriptures, but inside you are just like your husband, who does not even know what the Bible is or who God is. Now your husband is your mirror, and this goes to both, that we are actually, when you are sitting with Selina, there are parts of Selina that you can see that this is me, but then there are parts that you don't want to accept, but actually it is you in another form. And the moment we actually accept that, in the beginning, God, when he created everything, we had a contract that I'm going to marry Morris and I'm going to marry this one. And for that reason, it's because God knew that Morris and Malebo, they are going to accomplish this particular purpose in life with their marriage. And that is the reason why I'm bringing them together. They are similar. And another thing that I can even comment on is that my husband loves nature. Like, he's a nature type of a person. He would go and to the mountains and all that. When I met him, I thought, oh my gosh, when I think of nature, I'm thinking of snakes and all those things. But as I progressed in this relationship, I see that actually I love nature. That is just, it was an aspect of me that was hidden. But then because he came into my life, he brought it up. And now it's me who's suggesting, when we go out, I want to go out to places that have got nature. During the weekend, we are going somewhere where where there is nature. So people are our mirrors. If you are thinking that your husband is this thing or something that you don't like, that is actually you in another person.
I shared something on Facebook today, Coach. I said, you did not get into marriage.
Yes.
You are the marriage. And people don't understand that concept. And this is why God said, and for this reason, therefore, a man shall leave his father and his mother and cling to his wife, and the two shall become one. The concept of oneness needs to be understood, that without me, Selina alone cannot be in marriage. Why? Because I, together with her, we are the marriage. So I love the fact that you're saying we are a mirror to one another. When you marry somebody, you must understand that you will eventually, as your soul mate, you will eventually understand that, you know what, I know this person more than they think they know themselves. Oh, she knows me more than I think I know myself. Why? It's simply because you have reflected on each other for a period of time, so much that if you sit and spend some time with older people, some of them will say to you, you know, I used to be so mad because I would try and say something and my spouse will just finish the sentence for me. Like he's actually reading my mind or she's reading my mind. That is simply because God knew and understood when he said the two shall become one. So we need to understand our position in the marriage. We need to understand that, because at the end of the day, we are the marriage ourselves. We are the marriage. I'm gonna share something with you. I hear a lot of people saying, you know, I'm fighting for my marriage, and I'm thinking, if you're fighting for your marriage, what is the situation? No, he left, you know, and he's staying with somebody else. And I'm like saying to you, there's no more marriage. There's no more marriage, because marriage is you and that person together. So if one is out, it means there is no more marriage. That is why Christ gave that point as the only justification for a divorce, because he understood the power of the power that is in adultery to break the covenant and the commitment between God and the two that are in it. So we need to understand that me and my wife, are the marriage. With or without the kids or anything, we are the marriage. So we need to be mindful of that. It will help us on how we can deal with the issues in most cases that we're faced with.
Wonderful, wonderful. So even Coach Unati is here. I see hello Ntabi, hello Coach Unati, and everyone who's watching here. We're talking about relationships and marriages, how we can grow from pain to loving, really opening ourselves to love, and also growing together in marriage. And what is it that we are seeing in our husbands, our boyfriend, our girlfriends, and all that is actually what we are seeing, what is deep within us. It's just we haven't realized that aspect of our our life. So I remember one of the things, Thabo, which we also briefly talked about it on the WhatsApp group that we have, but you didn't understand me. So today I want to pose it out, because we are talking about growing in marriage and also growing in relationships, you know. And one of the things that has been put out there, and I think it's also coming from the question that we have about a woman being spiritually inclined and the men not coming to party. So some of the things, again, you see them in a relationship, and then you just hope that when we get into marriage, this person is going to do things differently. So in how we believe in the church and also culture is that a man is the leader of the house, and how even people are defining it is different from person to person. So when I met with my husband, we were literally like, we were fine with each other. We didn't have any expectations that you should wash dishes, you should do this, you should do this. And when we got into the institution of marriage, that is where things started. Now my husband is like, he's sitting and then he's not doing anything, he's not washing dishes. I'm the one who's doing everything. And then even me now, I have been the one who loves going to church. My husband has been in the ministry, and I think he got hurt from there, and he decided, you know what, I'm coming back to myself, and I just want to go to church and come back. That's it. So with me, I have been the one in the relationship, you know, being, we can call it spiritually inclined, you know. And now when we got married, I wanted my husband to pray for me, like other people are talking about it, that it's Christ, the husband, and then the wife, and then, you know, that same formula. But those formulas, do they work for everyone? We could say that they are working for everyone. They this is how God structured marriage, and this is what you need to do. Does it really work for all of us? Because I fought with my husband, and after fighting so much, I saw, okay, I saw that guys, hello. Can you guys hear me? I think I have just lost Thabo again. Hello guys, can you hear me? Can you hear me, guys? Can you hear me? I have lost Thabo. I don't know. Maybe he will reconnect. Please comment there if you can hear me. So my question to Thabo, which I wanted him to answer from his side of view, is that is the structure of marriages and relationship really applies to everyone, that your husband, and I think this is the question that we were having with the person who was asking, are we okay? I don't know what is happening here.
This network must not do this. It must not do this. No.
Okay, so the question that was asked was that, what if I am spiritually inclined and then the husband is not, you know, those type of things. But I think, again, it's coming from this, the same thing that I am having, that it was me who was there in the church by the time, you know, I was doing everything. And my husband was like, no, I do not want to be part of that. Please just, you know, and he couldn't pray for me like other people are saying, my husband is the one who is the head and all those things. And even the definition of the head of the house or the head of the family, what are those things really working? Or what is it that we need to do in us so that we know that this thing is not working? Because let me tell you something, with me, later on I decided, let me just accept my husband the way he is. He's not going to open the Bible for me and preach for me, and I'm going to love him anyway, even if he doesn't open the Bible for me. And that is how we lived in so much peace and harmony. Now, I want you then to really take us through this in your view on how do you then see this part of us, and how do we thrive in marriage with all these rules and regulations put before us. Hello.
Coach, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Look, there is something that we, in order for us to understand it, we need to deal with the root cause of it. Now, one, we need to understand that if you are with somebody that you found
Okay, I think you are
inclined
breaking.
to spiritual things, am I breaking?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was saying, if you found somebody, right, and they were in that position where they are not spiritually inclined, and you are, right, and you decide to actually marry them, then you cannot turn and start saying that no, they are not doing this, they are not doing that, because most of the time, whenever we encounter such couples, we ask them, how were you when you got married? This is where you realize that most of our sisters, and I'm gonna pick on you sisters, because I know that this is quite common in the church as well. You know, you love them good brothers, you know, he's a good man, you know, he does this, he does that, he keeps you happy. But when it comes to spiritual things, is he where you actually would expect him to be? And in most cases, you find that no, he wasn't. In most cases, you find that where you met actually tells a whole lot of stories about where he was and where you were. So what you need to do is that if you found somebody in that position where they were not spiritually inclined, when you decide to marry them, you still need to understand that they are not spiritually inclined. Now, the best thing you can do for yourself is not to expect or to demand more from them, because you got married to them being the person that they are. What you need to do is to influence how spiritual you are. Influence it. So instead of expecting and demanding, influence it. If you don't influence it, then continue to live the way you are living, being spiritually inclined. Who knows? Perhaps by seeing your commitment and consistency in spiritual inclination, they might say, you know what, there is something to actually go for there. So the more you actually try to wanna push that they become spiritually mature, you know, when you met him, you never said anything about, oh, by the way, you are the head of the wife. So you need to make sure that you are the priest in your house. You need to make sure that you read the word every day. You need to admonish me with the word every day. You need to pray over our children. You need to pray over this. You never discuss any of that. Now that you are in marriage, you expect those things to happen. No, man, but you are the head of the house. And by the way, the Bible doesn't say the man is the head of the house. The Bible clearly says that the man is the head of the wife. And if he's the head of the wife, and the wife chose and made a decision to say, this man will be my head, whether he's spiritually inclined or not, then you cannot come and complain about him not being spiritually inclined. And also, spiritual differences plays a major role. It's important that we discuss what we understand about spirituality. Because in most cases, we think that going to church together makes us spiritually inclined. We think that doing spiritual things means we understand where we are, both of us. And in most cases, that is where we lose one another, especially in a situation where you found somebody. Let me be honest with you. This does not only happen to people who meet everywhere in the streets, in the clubs, or anywhere in the malls and stuff. It happens to people who meet right in the church. You find that they are in the church, they meet there, they've been serving in the church, but they still don't understand a thing about spirituality. All they know is that we go to church, we serve, we do this. You are in the choir, I'm in the band, you know, else I'm an usher, or I'm doing that, or else we are preaching in the church, but they are not working together in terms of understanding of what spirituality is all about. So if you feel that, okay, I would love my husband to actually really take his priesthood position in the house, he needs to pray for us, he needs to pray for his home, he needs to learn to influence that. Don't expect it, don't demand it, because the moment you do that, you're going to get frustrated. And in most cases, you find that he doesn't even have a clue as to what being a priest is, as to what being a head is. All he knows is that, no, you must submit to me because I'm loving you. But it goes deeper than that. It doesn't end there. So I'm saying we need to be careful not to marry people whom we found not being where we are spiritually, mentally, emotionally, even financially. And then we get frustrated when they don't cater to us that which we are used to catering for ourselves. You can pray for yourself, you can pray for your husband, your kids, you can have your money, you can make your money, you can do all that, but you found this guy not doing any of that. And now you're going to start complaining. That is unfair on the relationship itself. Influence it, negotiate it, discuss it. There are many ways in which you can find somebody who can do that. You know, surround yourself with the right people. Surround yourself with men that you know they will actually make a positive impact in his life. They will grow. Remember, you are helping him. You're not trying to change him. You're not trying to make him what you want him to be, but you surround him with people that would actually spark that zeal for spiritual growth. And believe me, in most cases, it works that way. Men hate instructions. I'm going to be clear. Baby, hey, men hate that. But hey, love wait. Believe me, he's going to stand up and do it with you. So imagine on simple things like that, they don't want it, but you want to impose spiritual things, something that is really, really, hey, of great importance. You want to impose it. Then you will always find that rejection. Did you marry him being spiritually inclined? If not, then why are you complaining today? Did you marry him being this type of a person? If not, you decided to say, I'm going to submit to this man, even though he is spiritually not mature. But remember, it is about how the relationship started. If he saw you being a nice woman with a nice body and he thought this will be my wife, or she saw you with driving this nice car, having these, you know, prestigious functions and all that, and she falls in love with that, then you need to be careful not to try and change that situation drastically. So it has to gradually grow in you. You have to get to that point where you say, can I do what he does? Can I get, and let me be honest with you, Malebo, whenever you are spiritually inclined, trust me, there is that need in him that says, I think I need to try that and see how it works, you know. But the fear of, hey, I might now be given huge roles. You know, hey, imagine now I have to I have to pray every day in the house. Malebo, I am spiritually inclined myself, but I don't pray every night. I'll be lying to you. If I say I pray every night, I make sure that, hey, I cast demons out. I pray over my wife and my children. Hey, every day. I'll be lying to you. I don't do that. As you grow in things of the spirit, you become, you know, prayer changes from how you met it. You know, instead of making it more of a formal thing that by 8 o'clock we are praying in this house, whether you are there or you are not, then it turns gradually into something that you turn into a conversation with God. Wherever you are, however you are, you can pray for your wife driving. You can pray for your husband while you're busy with something. It becomes your way of living. But we get frustrated in most cases because we put, you know, certain rules that this is how it needs to be done, and you find that they're not even biblical, those rules. That's why I say we need to change how we understand scripture. God never said the husband is the head of the house. He never said that. He said the husband is the head of the wife. That is why the wife is supposed to submit to her own husband. I got into trouble one day saying that to me means the husband and the wife are the heads of the house. They are the head of the children. They are the head of everything in the house. They run the house together. They do everything together in the house. They are the heads of the house. But for order, the husband is the head of the wife. Hence, she has to submit. I got into trouble for saying that, but nobody could actually prove me wrong to say, but this is what the Bible says. No, the Bible never said that.
Wow, wow, wow. You know what? I know when I'm talking to you, we're going to take a lot of time. It's almost an hour since we have been live, but I also want to make this comment that I think there's so much information that is available to us that creates a lot of things for us, and we also create issues, issues that were not never there. We are creating them in our marriages and in our relationships. Some person is seeing DJ Morris, that DJ Morris is posting my label. Now they are at home and say, hey, why don't you post me as well? You see, DJ Morris is doing this and this. Actually, there is another guy who commented on one of my pictures saying that when Nagare, like, okay, I'm going to try and say it in English, but he was saying, I am the one who is loving my husband does not love me because they don't post me. And I was like, that is a huge, like, a comment, because how we behave, I know my husband is not a social media person like me. Every day I'm posting, and he does not. So imagine with other people, when they see maybe Wena and Oselina, we are posting Oselina, and they feel like, why can't you be like Thabo? But again, we are forgetting that you are not with Thabo in the marriage, or you are not with Thabo in the relationship. So I think it's Elijah Masubelelo who once said this, that accept the person that you are with. You are not with another person. You are with the one that you chose. You chose that person, and you said yes to that person. And this, the other thing is this project Change a Person, and I think with changing a person, whether it's a man or a woman, it is a hard work. Like, you are going to work hard and you are going to exhaust yourself, because I mean, when I was trying to now change because really, for my husband to be praying for me, it was not really my need. It was the need that I was taking from the world, from what I have been taught about marriage. Now I wanted to now implement it in my marriage, and it was not working, and it was frustrating us, until I decided, is it really me who want my husband to pray for me? And I decided, no, it's not that. I loved this man. When he told me, he came clean with me that I have been in ministry, and I have never been in ministry in the church. And he told me, I have been there. I know what is going on there. So I don't want to being hands on the church. So please allow me the time to really take a back seat. And after I had accepted him the way he is, guess what? The relationship was fine. And yes, as we grow, we would find ourselves with other challenges which are solvable, if there's an English word like that. So you cannot change a person. You can only inspire a person through your actions. And I think there is a Bible verse that talks about a person who is married to another one who's not born again, that you don't change them through your words, that, hey, you need to be born again. All you do is for you to they see your actions, and when they see your actions, they will be inspired. So imagine if you are the shouting person and all that, and then you are busy saying, come to church, you see, you are very judgmental. They're going to see that this one, I can't go to church and be like this person, because that is the person that you are. So you keep quiet and you become the wife or the girl, even the girlfriend, guys. Even in relationships, because this is where everything starts. We are thinking that relationships, no, we're going to play, and then when we get into marriage, we're getting into a serious thing. Whatever era is in the relationship, it will grow into marriage. There's no way that is going to somehow magically go away. And so as you said, I think even last week when you mentioned that, do not, when you want to be married as a woman, do not entertain such, you look so sexy. I mean, we already know that we are sexy. We already know that we are beautiful. So if you want to be married, you want to entertain people who you have to define who is it that you want. I want a man who is already like this and like that, and you then talk to those type of people and see what is happening in the relationship. The only thing that really changes for me, I would say, it's the ring, that okay, now we are official. But the things, that the mess that we were in the relationship, it will grow with us until so we cannot change people. We can only inspire them and accept who you have in your life. I don't know if you want to say the last thing before we close. I think the next week we should talk about, we didn't talk about it enough. We should talk about how we grow together as a couple, because a lot of people thinking the women, us, we thinking that, hey, guys, we are leaving you behind, man. You guys are lagging behind. So we want to dwell more on how do we then grow together in marriage. But I want you to, even in the relationships, I want you to say your last word and then we can close for today.
You're already provoking something about next week's topic. I feel like we can just go on for another hour, and you must remind me about this point next week. Competitive mentality sometimes bring that thought. I'm growing much more faster or better than he does or she does. However, for today, Osmalebo, I just want to say, there's a whole lot of healing that is needed in people. And as you said, a whole lot of things starts in relationships. We take a whole lot of relationships that we are not supposed to take in, and then we get into marriage with the effect of those relationships. And in most cases, the negative effects of those relationships. And now when we are in marriage, we want to try and fix something that was broken while we were in relationships. And that is when we get not to enjoy the journey of marriage. So it is important that when you engage into a relationship with somebody, firstly, make sure that you spend more time talking, having conversation, communicating more than acting. Because the acting part is where you end up doing things that you're not supposed to do in relationships, which are only supposed to be done in marriage. Now, when you act a lot, where you want him to take you to these places, exotic places where you want to have sex, where you want to do that while you are in the relationship, you are depriving yourself the opportunity to dwell more onto who am I with? What is this person all about? Where is this person going in life? And that on its own will help you to identify if you are indeed with the right person or the wrong person. So those that are still in relationships, bear this in mind. Talk more and act less. If you act less, believe me, you're going to stop being Makoti before your time. You're going to stop being a husband before your time. You're going to stop doing things you're not supposed to do before it's time, because that is where the hurt and pain starts. And by the time you get into marriage, you're already asking yourself, I'm already broken. Can I trust him? Can I not trust him? Is he going to love me? Is he not going to love me? And now you are in an institution. Malebo, let me tell you as my last word for today. I hope it's the last one. Hey, what you do in your relationship should give you a glimpse of how things are going to be in the marriage if you decide to get married to that person. Whatever that you do, either with or to that person, should give you a glimpse. Their response, their reaction, how they think, how they feel should give you a glimpse of what you're going to encounter in the marriage. So don't expect anything different. Getting married does not change a person. In actual fact, it's like getting money. It just makes them more of what they already are. And if you had pain before you got married and you continue to marry, guess what? It is in marriage now. It's going to be pressed down, shaken together, and that pain is going to work on you. And you're going to spend your time being miserable in the marriage instead of enjoying the marriage. So be careful not to give yourself quite too early before it's time. The book of Songs of Solomon said, and it was talking to ladies, do not awaken love until it pleases. Ladies, don't do that. And those are my parting words. Thank you so much for having me tonight.
Thank you. I had to go and put on the light because it was getting dark here. Thank you so much. There is one question. Is there a thing as a wrong person or you attract you? Is there a thing as a wrong person that you are with a wrong person? I just honestly don't believe that you are with the wrong person. I just believe that there are stages in your life where you, for instance, if I would say with my exes, I'm not married to them. They were not wrong. They just were in my life to teach me about love. Because when I then became, being in a relationship with my husband, then I could understand that this person loves me. So I just think that there are stages, and people are teaching you different things throughout this entire stages. And if you decide then to take the lessons from them, then you will see that they were not wrong. They were assigned some sort of a role that would enhance you. Just like when we start working, you start working as a junior. It's not like the position is wrong. It means that at that time you were suitable for a junior position, and then you grow within the company to being a CEO. But it doesn't mean that it was wrong for you to start as a junior. I don't know. What's your take on that?
I agree with you, and I can also say that for me, it takes a wrong person to be with the wrong person. Because if you are the right person, what are you doing with the wrong person?
Yeah.
So your decisions are wrong, your choices are wrong, then therefore you cannot blame this person and say they are the wrong person. Where did it start? Where did it start? You started with a wrong decision.
Yes, and it goes back to what we talked about, that there is no way that you are outside of this thing. We like to take ourselves out as if like, no, now we are not wrong. This person is wrong, but that is who you are, so you attract who you are in life. We attract who we are in life. Guys, thank you so much for tuning into Malibu TV. I am with Thabo. Thabo is a marriage counselor and a relationship coach. If you need a relationship coaching, Thabo is also available. Please, I have tagged him on all of my platforms. It's Thabo Machi, and he is also available for marriage counseling. I love how they do their marriage counseling, because it is the wife and the husband, so you don't feel like, hey, Thabo is taking DJ's side, or so there is two people there who understand. Selena is a woman, and all of us, we get to understand. And like I said last time, Thabo is my marriage counselor, so that is the reason why I said he must come here and talk about relationships, because I always, when I feel like I am here, Thabo is the one who says, calm down, coach, calm down. So he said he's available for sessions. His sessions for relationships are 350, and for marriage counseling is 750, and you can contact him even on Facebook, right? All right, and yes, I think that is our session for today. It's past an hour. So thank you so much, Thabo. Next week, we're going to be talking about growing together in marriage and in relationships, so that you don't feel like when now you are studying and then the other person is not studying, or you are doing meditation and the other one is not doing those type of things. We want to grow together in marriage. We want to grow together in relationships, so that we know that, what, I was even telling my husband yesterday that, babes, we have been growing together. There was a time when I found you were earning a certain amount of money, and now today we are growing together. You are earning this type of a salary, you are making this type of money, and all of that. And it's so actually exciting to see that when you are with a person, they are not going down the drain. You are elevating together. So we're going to be talking about that next week. Thank you for tuning in. Please remember also to like, share, and also subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you, Thabo.
Thank you very much. Good night.
Thank you. Bye.